views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BXRX. Hey, we've got another good show for you. Coming up on today's show, well, we'll speak to the representative of an organization that is providing performing arts and developing opportunities for youth from marginalized communities. Then we'll hear from the president of an organization that is working to provide financial relief from Bronx business owners during the pandemic. And then we'll speak to the executive director of an organization that is providing music education for our youth. And then Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports. And then we'll hear from the founder of a food truck that is inspiring her community to eat healthier. Keep it going right here on Open. We are wide open. Thank you for watching. We go again. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open. It's the live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, our first guest serves as the city leader for the All-Stars. It's an All-Stars project that she leads. She leads all of that programming out there. She's going to talk more about it. She's out there in Jersey, and she's in New York City, too. And she joins us to speak about her organization and the performing arts and development opportunities that it provides our youth from underserved communities. Please welcome to the show, Sade. We play all the time on WBLS. Sade McDaniel, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. Thanks for having me. And I'm really excited to share with you all some of the amazing work we're doing at the All-Stars Project. Yes,
name one Sade record.
Oh, Smooth Operator. I love Sade. She's
yeah, there you go. So you're programming a lot of this stuff for your wonderful organization. You've been doing it since 1981, is that right?
Absolutely. We actually started right in the South Bronx.
All right, South Bronx.
First talent show ever in the South. We were founded in 81, right there, you know.
and you moved around a little bit. How did the Jersey thing happen and then back into New York City onto 42nd Street?
Yeah, absolutely. So 40 years ago, where we kicked off at our headquarters, which is New York. I know, right? Crazy. We were right there in New York. Our headquarters is right there in New York on 42nd Street, 31,000 square feet of community programming. That's right at the heart of the theater district. And then we're now 20 years in Newark, New Jersey. We expanded. Newark is actually the first innovation or the first, expansion of the All-Stars Project. But we are a national nonprofit organization. We are funded privately. We're in New York, New Jersey. We are in Dallas, San Francisco, and Chicago, just to name a few. But I have the privilege of overseeing the programming in New Jersey and in New York.
Yeah. That's great. And so, wait a minute, you're teaching performing arts, right?
Well, we use performance and improv as a tool of development. So our mission is to transform the lives of youth and poor communities using the developmental power of performance in partnership with caring adults. So we have a myriad of programs. Some are literally on stage. We have the talent show program, we have the youth on stage program, and then there's some other programs that are off stage, but the performances that are off stage that help young people learn and develop.
And what are some of those programs that we're talking about?
Well, we sponsor free after school programs for all young people, and one of them is called Development School for Youth.
Uh-huh.
I think I already mentioned Youth on Stage and All Stars Project. I'm sorry, All Stars Talent Show, and
Yes.
Operation Conversation Cops and Kids. And um, all of what we do really is make sure we bring people together from all racial, economic, social walks of life, including police officers and young people of color, to create something positive and new together.
Yeah, creating that harmony, especially around these times where we had the uproar and the marches and everything. So it's a conversation between cops and kids to create that harmony.
Oh yeah. Cops and Kids it's phenomenal. It's one of the most in-person transformative programs that I've ever seen. It's our award-winning police community relations program. We run it in partnership with the Newark Police Department as well as the New York Police Department. And you're right, we bring together police officers and young people to do a performance workshop where we use performance and improv and help them build conversation and express empathy. And it really helps teenagers and police officers find ways to improve their relationship.
That's. Do you have something coming up that we can look forward to checking out, or?
Well, we have
Even if it's virtual.
Yeah, we have a lot going on that we've been able to really pivot during the COVID crisis. And, we've gone virtual. We have thousands and thousands of young people and volunteers, including business professionals who have come together in new ways. Thank God for technology. We've broken geographic boundaries. So in that, we have innovated one of our programs. We have something called development coaching. This is a new coaching, mentoring type program that connects hundreds of business professionals with inner city youth on a one-on-one development. And the reason why this has been so successful is because a lot of young people that work with us say that they feel isolated, they feel even more disconnected from the mainstream than they ever have before. And we had to find ways to make sure that young people can continue building new relationships with people outside of their comfort zone. So this development coaching has enabled cross-regional connections that we didn't even think of before. So that's been amazing.
But how does that work? How does that work for a youngster meeting up with somebody in business?
Yes, most likely, but actually in all industries. We have such a wide network of caring adults that span all over the nation. And just most recently, we had our first volunteer from Canada. And really what happens is we use a technology that has an algorithm that matches young people to adults in relation to their interest or their dream, or, things.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's a little bit different than mentoring, where it's going both ways, where adults are also learning something new and being able to engage with people from the inner city that they might not always have the opportunity to do, and learning more about what it's like to relate to different types of people. So that's been groundbreaking for us as well.
That's important too, because a lot of people grow up in a neighborhood where I think everything is, they're conditioned to be a certain person or a certain way. But when they get a chance to break outside of that circle,
they see different ways,
different ways.
So one of our programs.
So one of our programs.
Are you improving?
I'm mirroring you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're improving with me. I see. It's all a performance. I appreciate you, Dr. Lee. But Development School for Youth does what you just said, though. So in addition to development coaching, so Development School for Youth is where young people ages 16 to 21, they perform as professionals, they partner with business leaders, they go to workshops and they sponsor summer internships. And a lot of times, like you said, our kids are really confined to, 4 to 10 block radius. And they might see these skyscrapers, from the sidewalks looking up. But our programs really allow young people to connect with business professionals, senior leaders who invite them into their boardroom and work on building a professional performance with them. But it also takes them outside of their comfort zone and gives them exposure well beyond their radius. So
absolutely,
that's another way adults can also be involved. Business leaders from top companies provide this type of training and experience.
Wow. So here we go. You program. You're like a program director. You can program. If you can program that, you can program just about anything. Huh?
Just about anything. I mean, I'm telling you, performance and improv, that approach really does cross boundaries in all different types of industries.
And I tell people all the time, I said, if you want to be a certain person or you want to get a certain job or get into a certain career, I said, copy them. Everybody has their own individuality and own personality. I can copy you, but I won't look like you. But
you did a great job. You just did a great job.
But I'm just saying that you can be yourself and copy somebody because you have to fit the sound of a radio station, or you have to fit that particular program that you're going to get that job from.
You just
so you can copy. You got a shadow.
We believe that we call that being both performance or performing is being both who you are and who you're becoming at the same time. So you definitely want to imitate, copy, pretend. I mean, really pretend. That's what my 3-year-old daughter does. She pretends to be a mom or a student or whatever. And then when you keep doing it and rehearsing it,
repetition,
guess what? It becomes who you are and who you're becoming. So that's really you're a smart man, Dr. Lee. That's
your own personal touch.
Exactly. So
you wouldn't try to sound like a rock and roll DJ trying to get a job at WBLS.
That won't work. You gotta know the performance. You gotta know the play. What character are you in this play? We tell our young people all the time, like, the performance you have at school is different than the performance you have at church, or at home with your mom. It's not being authentic. It's being able to, perform in different environments. And that's how we really support our young people getting access to the mainstream. That's how we move the marginalized, into
and let them know it's a circle of love. Everything comes back around. And around and around and around. It's been done before. It's been copied, but you're going to add your own unique touch, personality.
Yes. You
got your own individuality.
Correct. That's it.
Thank you for all you're doing. This is wonderful. You got to come back again and tell us more.
Oh, I would be just honored, Dr. Lee. It's really fun. And I hope that, people who are watching today really consider, going to allstars.org/join. Find out about our weekly community events, find out how to, work with our young people behind the scenes on our special event productions. And yes, young people from anywhere can sign up. We have really cool development tips, Dr. Lee, on our YouTube channel where anybody can try something new for the first time and share with us their experience. So definitely take a look at our website, take a look, find us on YouTube, and let's keep growing and developing together.
There you go. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. So the website, once again, is
www.allstars.org/join. That's forward, right? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So once again, it's
www.allstars.org/join.
All right. Thank you so much. Sade McDaniel, City Leader, Project All Stars of New Jersey. I'm going to say, and New York, too.
Yes, we're everywhere. Also, Project of New Jersey and New York.
Well, thank you for your service, and have a wonderful holiday.
You too. Thank you, Dr. Lee.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. All right, we'll take a break right here. We've got more coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and our next guest is the president of the new Bronx Chamber of Commerce. And she joins us today to speak about a new program that's providing financial relief for small businesses and small business owners in the Bronx. And also to speak about the potential impact the COVID-19 vaccine will have on those businesses moving forward. Please welcome to the show, Lisa Soren. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to be here today with you.
Yes, you're always welcome. Now, can you tell us more about the new Bronx Chamber of Commerce and how it's operating during this pandemic? Because I know these are very, very tough and challenging times.
It's been extremely challenging. I think that it's brought us to a point where we didn't know what we were capable of. Businesses were at a loss, as you can imagine. And what we have done is try to take a proactive role in reaching out to businesses, businesses reaching out to us, and trying to maneuver the influx and the oversaturation of information over the course of the last 9 months. It's been extremely challenging, but I think that we've been able to handhold some of the businesses, get them through some of the questions, regulations, and everything that they've been faced with over the last 9 months.
Yeah, and you recently announced the launching of the Back2Business program that's helping safeguard the financial interest of small businesses in the Bronx. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. So this is a 5-chamber citywide program, and we're lucky enough to have brought 2 specialists on board with us. And what the Small Business Resource Network is an opportunity to put feet on the ground for our businesses, walk through these small corridors, really get to know some of the businesses who are struggling. One of the biggest eye-opening experiences that we've had over the course of the last 9 months has been the digital divide of our businesses. And so, you know, with all the information, everybody's sending people to websites, and it's just really difficult when you're trying to run a small business. This program has allowed us the opportunity to put feet on the ground. I have 2 people who go out, speak to businesses, they sign up. It's a quick, you know, name of the business, address, contact information. We come back and we have an array of resources for them. And, you know, one thing that I really want to specify is the fact that we know there's a lot of programs out there looking to help small business. What makes this one a little more unique is a more personal touch. You have faces that are going into your business. You have people who will set you up with resources, whether they're financial, whether they're marketing, how to turn your business into an online presence. What's the importance of social media? I mean, it really is an array of services needed by these businesses. And so we have our specialists who are able to follow up at the 2-week mark, at the 3-week mark, until we're positive they have been able to get the resources that they need from us. And
no, I like the work that you guys are doing with the chamber. I mean, the last time we were out there with the stringer, and we were going from store to store. Were you there that day?
I was not. I believe one of my team members was.
Yeah, we were going from store to store. We wanted to find out what was on the minds of the business owners, so that we can better, you know, take care of them and service them.
I think the biggest issue, of course, is always going to be financial. There just isn't enough money. There isn't enough understanding or conversation about the need for keeping the roof over the heads of these businesses. Very challenging.
What impact do you believe that the COVID-19 vaccine will have on the operations of Bronx businesses, such as restaurants and indoor dining, etc.?
Well, I'll tell you, I think that's been one of the biggest frustrations for us, has been the focus on the restaurants and the inability for them to provide indoor dining. And I know that's not a direct answer to your question, but I really would like to say that we are not sure why the focus of indoor dining has been to the point that it is about the closures. It's been proven that the infection rate of 1.4% within a restaurant setting. You have restaurants open across Westchester, Orange, Putnam, areas that have a larger increase of COVID-related infections. And so our restaurants are desperate, they're dying. So the COVID-19 gives them a sense of hope. In the meantime, I don't know what that means for them. The most we can do is give them the information that they need, how to sustain outdoor dining, how to give them their online presence, and hope that we can move this vaccine program faster, because of course we have to take care of our frontline workers and our, police department, all the important people who have just been at the forefront. But our business is desperately needed.
Yeah,
And I
and then
think
the mayor made that announcement the other day. He said after they take care of people over 75,
Right.
the nursing homes, they're going to come and deal with the frontline workers and make sure they get the vaccination. Those are people at the grocery stores, people at the restaurants, fire department, police department, things of that nature.
And it is my hope that they focus on businesses that are about to close, that they focus on the importance of really educating people on the safety of this vaccine, because I think that unless there is an understanding that you can provide this to our restaurant and business owners, but if the consumer is pushing back, it really kind of halts the progress that we're hoping to make in our business community.
Yeah. Is there enough in that the stimulus package for restaurants?
No, absolutely not. The Restaurant Act wasn't included in the program where they're able to give financial support to restaurants. We're not sure why it was not included, considering they're one of the hardest hits. But we're hoping when the new administration comes in that they realize the importance of including the Restaurant Act and understanding the impact it has had on low-income communities and businesses and our brick and mortars that are suffering so desperately.
Yeah, I was reading up on something the other night. The governor made a statement, and so did the mayor. I'm scrolling through it while I'm talking to you to see if I can find it and see what they're going to do. $900 billion, and then the president came in and said, "Wait a minute, why don't we give people $2,000?" But he didn't get involved in the negotiations of the whole thing. And you had the House and the Senate come together to put that package together. Let me see, additional social workers, neighborhoods, communities, hard hit. All right, it has schools, and I said, wait a minute, I thought I saw restaurants in here. But I'm sure there's a little something in there, but it may not be exactly what you need at this time, right?
No, I think what we were hoping for as chambers and the Restaurant Association was really about the Restaurant Act. How do you put the influx of money back into the restaurants to cover the expenses, their overhead? Unfortunately, with the continued closure of indoor dining, our unemployment rates have gone up. You have restaurants who now have limited their sizing. Others are just closing until the spring. And so what that has done is a trickle effect of almost going backwards in the ability to grow our businesses. And chambers are doing everything they can to provide as many resources. The New York City Department of Small Business Services has a couple of programs that are out in assisting businesses with zero interest loans or paying interest on CDFI loans. So there are opportunities, not as many as we need, but I think that we really need to figure out as a city and as a state why the city of New York is being penalized on such a bigger level for our businesses. Because and the truth is, it's something we don't want to do, but if we want indoor dining and it's 30 degrees outside, we can literally take a 5-minute drive over the bridge and go into Westchester County and eat. I prefer to give the money to my borough.
Right, they're keeping their restaurants open.
Absolutely, they're keeping. You have indoor dining. Everybody closes at 10, but the indoor dining makes a big deal. The outdoor indoor just gives a better opportunity to keep people employed, especially during Christmas. And it's very sad that New York City seems to have its own rules and regulations. And we're hoping that our administration, both at the city, state, and federal level, recognize, how horribly everything's going. And my borough, I call it my borough, the Bronx. We've come back through harder times, and we will get through this. The chamber and my team will handhold, we'll fill out applications, we'll get you the information. My team is out there, and we all have to be out there walking the corridors to save our businesses, and so be it. We're there for it.
What are your plans for 2021?
2021, we hope to get back to some sort of normal. You know, one of the fun things that we did with the chamber has always been about networking, speed networking, engagement. We are really getting very successful in doing business to business, really keeping business in our borough. So we have a full calendar. I'm going to invite everybody to check out our new website, which has been something we've been able to do, bronxchamber.org. And you're going to be seeing a lot of interesting stuff and everything from media training, which I think I can use, and along with everybody else, to keep up with the Dr. Lees of the world, and public speaking and financing and marketing and websites. So we're looking forward to a lot of workshops, a lot of hand holding, and I can't wait to go around and hug people. I really miss it. I'm a hugger. So it's been hard for me this year.
There's a big virtual one. Ready?
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lisa Soren, President, New Bronx Chamber of Commerce. Go to the website, bronxchamber.org.
Absolutely. We're here to help. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, blessed and safe New Year.
And happy, yes. All right. Thank you so much. We'll take a break right here, Lisa, and we'll come back with a whole lot more. We're riding right here on Open. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and we've got a great show lined up for you, too, and we keep giving it to you. Our next guest is the Executive Director of Education through Music, and she joins us today to talk about her organization and how it's dealing with the pandemic while still providing quality music education through New York City youth. We welcome to the show, Penny Swift. Penny, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. Can you tell us more about the education through music? And also, you released a statement on racial equality on your site and how the Black Lives Matter movement has impacted your work during this pandemic.
Absolutely. So in 1991, the founders of Education Through Music recognized that there were inequities in New York City public schools and felt very strongly that to mitigate these challenges, that music education through equity and access was a way to ensure that the students of New York City received a comprehensive and sequential music education.
Yes.
We continue that work today with a great deal of fidelity. I'm proud to say we continue to provide equity and access to New York City's public school children with excellence, with fidelity, and with high expectations. Education through music is truly a catalyst for change for our students. The Black Lives Matter social justice movement has impacted our entire country, including all stakeholders within our organization. But most importantly, more than 30 years ago, as I mentioned, our founders recognized that in order to mitigate and to work through social inequities that they recognized years ago, that equity and access for students was the way to mitigate all of those. And as I mentioned, we continue to do that work today.
Yeah. And how are you handling the pandemic? How are you working there's Zooms all over the place. I know people are like, I'm tired of these Zooms, but this is the new normal for a little while, I guess.
It is the new normal. I couldn't be more proud, though, of the work that our team has done. I like to think that leaders really rise to the challenge when there's a crisis. And I know that word crisis has been used a lot, unprecedented times, challenging times. But we rose to the challenge through this pandemic, in my mind, with unprecedented work that our team has done. We didn't take a back seat. We continue to partner with our schools to make sure that they saw us as a partner alongside of them through these challenges. The very crux of our organization and our recipe for the secret sauce that we have is how we've always supported our teachers, right?
I like that, the secret sauce.
We have
tell us more about that.
Right? And We've always said that our teachers are the very focus of our success. We offer more than 100 hours of professional development to our teachers,
Yeah.
recognizing that they are in front of the students on a daily basis, right? Like, nobody notices if I'm not there for the day, but children notice if their teacher isn't there for the day, right? That's the most important tool in our toolbox. So the difference was, what professional development do our teachers need now more than ever? And we pivoted to make that change with remote distance learning facilitators for our teachers, gamification to engage our students better in Zoom environments, right? So that was very engaging. And one of the products of all this was that we recognized our families were engaged with us more than ever. And as we know, in that cycle, excuse me, when parents are engaged, students are engaged, and it just ups the game even more. The way I like to think of it is that the teacher is in the middle of the spider web, if you bear with me a minute. Everybody in this organization is here to serve and support that teacher, and that's what we've continued to do more than ever now.
And parents have become teachers also, so they're a greater partners around this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they get an opportunity to find out what you guys are going through as teachers.
Yes, we don't promote ourselves. There's no banner in the school that says education through music or ETM. We're a silent partner with the principal. We believe in the leadership of the school. We want to be engaged with the school. We want to make sure that the classroom teachers outside of the music teachers know the benefits of music education, how we can support them in the classroom. But the average family doesn't know about ETM or education through music. Now they understand and are aware of the fact that without us, their child very, very well may not have had that comprehensive and sequential music education. So we've developed a footprint with our families that we've never had before.
I love it. Thank you so much for all that you guys are doing. Now, you mentioned a little while ago, gamification. Is that one of the identification techniques that you use in teaching our students?
Well, it's an additional way to engage students. I think of it, and I'm dating myself quite a bit, as a New York City teacher, we used to have, like Oak Tag with badges on it for the students, if you got to your seat on time, completed your assignment on time. Gamification is the way we use technology today to get students to the next level, rewards, positive reinforcement. It's new school positive reinforcement.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Oak Tag.
I said I'm dating myself.
It was a Motown step back. It's okay. It worked then, and it probably works today too, but we've just got new ways of doing things. What communities are involved that you serve?
So currently we're partnering with 51 schools
Okay.
within all 5 boroughs of New York City. Approximately 80% of our schools are in the Bronx. We have the majority of schools in District 11 and District 12. District 11 is much of the Northeast Bronx. One of the areas we actually call Orchestra Row, because we have so many schools in that area. So 80% of our schools are in the Bronx. Additionally, we have affiliates. We have an affiliate in Los Angeles since 2006. We have an affiliate in Colorado that's been in existence for the last 2 years. And I'm very proud to be able to share ETM Massachusetts launched its first year this year. So in total, we see over 40,000 students a week within all of our affiliates.
That's fantastic. Wow. Great job. Great job. All right.
It's a great team effort, really is.
Yeah. How can people get involved? They're going to see an opportunity. They'll see a wonderful program that you have and some of the great things that you guys are doing, and they're going to want to get involved. How do they move on it?
There's a lot of ways to get involved. I really welcome you to, and welcome everybody that's listening, to check us out on social media. We can be found at etmonline.org, or you can visit our website at etmonline.org. Of course, the generosity of everybody is certainly welcome, really during these very challenging times. So many of our schools this year have seen reductions in their budget, which is dramatic because it's laid on top of reductions in their budget to begin with. I mean, the reality is that's why we're in existence, right?
Yeah.
Public schools do not have the budgets to support cultural arts programs. So we step in to provide those services over and above what the schools can afford. We recognize that this year alone, the schools that we partner with have seen a reduction in their budgets to the tune of $7 million. That is very impactful when schools are dealing with limited resources to begin with. I am proud to say that although we offer a substantial amount of financial assistance to our schools so that they can partner with them, we allocated additional monies this year, ensuring that students still received comprehensive music education. We were dedicated to it this year more than ever. You know, you talk about peeling back the onion, and when you talk about a budget, you never want students or children to be hurt. We ensured that continue to happen this year. And I'm so proud of the work of the team and our board to ensure that that happened and allocate that money.
Penny, what's the website again?
etmonline.org.
Penny Swift, Executive Director, Education Through Music. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing, and big shout out to everybody that works with you. Happy holidays to you and yours.
Thank you. Same to you.
From all of us here at Bronx Net. All right, we'll take a break right here, but Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports coming up next.
Special guest with us here this morning, longtime New York Giants beat reporter, sports writer Patricia Traynor joins us on Bronx Net's Open. How are the holidays treating you, Patricia? Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, so great to see you. I mean, it was, kind of the regular thing for us to be in the press box, but of course with COVID-19, the pandemic has really changed credentials, so haven't really gotten a chance to see you this year. I know it's been an interesting season for the Giants, not only having to deal with the pandemic, but also just the highs and the lows of this season. What has surprised you the most this year about the Giants?
Well, I think that they came together as quickly as they have. I mean, the defense has been playing really, really well. I mean, the fact that they held the Cleveland Browns last week to 20 points. I mean, I was surprised that they were able to do that. New system, no offseason, no preseason. That's been a surprise. On the flip side, the other surprise is the offense has been very sluggish. I think they've thrown for 9 touchdowns so far in 15 weeks, and that's been a bit of a surprise. I thought Jason Garrett would bring an offense in here that would really be, a juggernaut like what he had down in Dallas. So one good surprise, one bad surprise, I guess.
We wanted to have you on the show to talk about not only the Giants season, but you've got a new book out, which is really exciting. The Big 50, the New York Giants, the men and moments that made the New York Giants. I know it must be challenging to have a book out during the pandemic, but I believe people are reading more now than ever, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I know I am. I love to read, and I always wanted to write a book. I never thought it would be a Giants book. I thought maybe it would be a novel of some sort, some work of fiction. But when the opportunity came along, I said, look, it combines something that I'm very passionate about, which is my covering of the Giants, my reporting of the Giants. So it was a great opportunity for me, and I had a lot of fun with it. And most of all, I learned stuff that I maybe didn't know, and it helps me with my writing, my day-to-day writing and podcasting.
Well, of course. Yeah, and I think it's really beautifully done. I know that Triumph Books has put out a few of these books, including one on the New York Yankees, but you kind of get a chance to do this countdown from 50 to 1 and talk about so many of the great players in Giants history, and then also the great moments in Giants history.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, to narrow it down to just 50 and then to stack them in order from number one to up to 50. That was just that was probably the hardest part of this entire project, because every man, every moment intertwines with one another, and then you have to go and you have to separate stuff and figure out, okay, where does this place on the scale? And people might disagree with the order that I had the chapters, and then that's fine. It's a discussion point, but that was probably the most challenging part of it.
Very much like the Yankees, Patricia, I think the Giants are, of course, steeped in history when it comes to the NFL, and a lot of connections too here to the Bronx, because you think of some of the great players and coaches, many of which have kind of come from New York City, whether it was the college ranks or over time, even the Mara family. So talk a little bit about I think maybe some of the great players that you got a chance to kind of chronicle in this very comprehensive book.
Yeah, some of the players that are covered in this book, unfortunately, they passed, so I didn't get a chance to really, talk to them. But I did do extensive research. You're looking at the Mel Hines, you look at Frank Gifford is touched upon in the book. And then you have some of the guys that are still alive. Harry Carson is in here, Tiki Barber. Um, I have a sidebar on Plaxico Burress. Just, I tried to slant the book a little bit more towards post 1970, because I realized a lot of Giant fans maybe recognize that era, whereas, there's not maybe a lot of people who were alive back in when the Giants were in their infancy. But just in spanning the entire history of the Giants, the guys who were probably, I went for Hall of Famers, I went for Ring of Honor members, I went for guys who basically changed the course of history. Pete Gogolak, for example, was a very instrumental player in changing history. He was at the center of that AFL NFL merger. So just guys like that, and just again learning about that history really, you know, I think filled in a lot of gaps for me personally moving forward, because now I find myself, when I'm writing articles, I go back and I say, oh, this relates to 20 some odd years ago or 30 years ago when this happened. So it's really been a great project for me, and I just absolutely, I enjoyed it, and I hope people who read it enjoy it as well.
I think that the generation today, of course, maybe especially the young, really young people here in the Bronx and the city, didn't get a chance to see great players like LT. I think you can make a case not only the greatest player in Giants history, but maybe the greatest player in NFL history.
Absolutely. I mean, any player who changes how the game is played. And, Joe Gibbs had to go and design different offensive schemes to block Lawrence Taylor. Same with Bill Walsh. There's little innovations that we know today, like for example the H back, the two, the double tight end set, and putting a guard on a defensive lineman versus a tackle or whatever. Little nuances that are common in the game today all stem back to how opposing coaches tried to stop Lawrence Taylor. So when you talk about legends who really changed how the game is played, that's a perfect example of someone who, he was just so talented that people had to come up with new ways to slow him down.
I think Giants fans too are excited about the future because they've gotten glimpses this year under new head coach Joe Judge, and I think they're hopeful that Saquon Barkley does return from that injury and maybe is at least as good as he was, if not better, and could eventually become maybe the Hall of Famer that a lot of people think that he could be. Obviously, Saquon has some South Bronx roots here in the Bronx. I was wondering what you thought about that injury and whether or not it could end up derailing his career, or if Saquon could end up being kind of that next great in line and follow someone like a Lawrence Taylor to the Hall of Fame.
Well, first off, that injury was devastating. You never want to see that happen to anybody. I don't care who the player is, what team he's on. That's a devastating injury. And for Saquon Barkley, who, was poised to have a really good year, and now especially you look at how the offensive line has been blocking, run blocking for the most part. They've been doing a good job. You sit there and you wonder what might have been. I do know that Saquon, I spoke to him, I want to say a couple weeks ago for a podcast, And we talked a little bit about his rehab. He is very determined to come back and be the next Adrian Peterson, who had a similar injury and who, of course, came back strong and and is still going. So Saquon, the advantage he has is that he's still young. He's got access to the best doctors in the world, and he's already been attacking that rehab of his, with full throttle. So my expectation, my hope for him is that he comes back, and next year with this offense in year 2 of the system, I have a feeling Saquon Barkley is just going to absolutely tear it up once he's cleared to go.
That's great to hear. Giants, of course, did have their winning streak without Saquon, and there were moments this season that Daniel Jones really looked like potentially the quarterback of the future. I think the organization and the fan base has embraced the fact that he probably will be here, and I think they are excited to have him. Your thoughts on Daniel Jones and whether or not he can also live up to the expectations that the team has for him?
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but again, this was year 2 for him and year 1 basically in the new system. So there was a matter of getting comfortable with everything and just, being able to execute without thinking about it too much. But he eventually turned the corner, and then of course we saw the added benefit he brings, which is his running ability, and that's something the Giants have never had. I always equate this to a video game. When they had Eli Manning in here, as great as Eli Manning was, he was not mobile like Daniel Jones is. And when they made the switch to Daniel Jones, I equate that to they leveled up and they unlocked a whole different treasure chest of options and scenarios that maybe they didn't have available to them. So Daniel Jones, he's starting to settle down. He's starting to do a better job taking care of the ball. Unfortunately, what comes with a mobile quarterback is they can be a little bit more injury prone. And Daniel, of course, right now is dealing with the hamstring and the sprained ankles. So hopefully that will heal up. He'll be back on the field before the end of the season, maybe as soon as this week. We don't know as of this recording, but that is the expectation. And Daniel Jones just seems to be slowly turning that corner and on track to being, a solid franchise quarterback for this team.
Well, Patricia, fans can really relive the glory years through your new book. And just again, wanted to recommend everyone at home to check it out, The Big 50 New York Giants, The Men and Moments That Made the New York Giants. It's available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and even TriumphBooks.com. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. I have an attitude of gratitude, so thank you for tuning in and checking it all out. Our next guest is the founder of A Fresh Start, and she joins us today to speak about how she is inspiring her community to eat healthier while showing her passion for good food. Please welcome to the show, Eloise Gomez. Eloise, how are you? How you feeling? How you doing? All the way out there in the DR.
I am doing great, guys. I'm here enjoying the Dominican Republic, the beautiful sun. Still haven't gone to the beach, but those are the plans for tomorrow. Thank you for asking.
Oh, shucks. Can you send us some sunshine? Maybe fax it to us or email it to us somehow or text it?
Of course, I'm gonna show it all off. Don't worry, I got you.
There you go. All right. Tell us about A Fresh Start and what was the vision for it?
So I started Fresh Start because this is how it all started. I'm a runner. I've been running for 6 years now with all over New York City.
Yeah.
And I wanted to run the New York City Marathon for the first time, but I wasn't able to get in through lottery or I didn't have any other option but to raise funds. So
Yeah.
I joined a charity called Team for Kids, and I raised funds for them. I believe it was $5,000, not much, but it was
Yeah.
a little tough because, my product was only $2, $3. I was selling baked goods. And I saw how the community supported, family supported. I was able to, raise the funds. And everybody loved the food. I was like,
Uh,
okay,
what were you
maybe I
baking?
could do this as a business, something that I could do for myself and my community, something that, that would do good for my people in the Bronx. And I started doing it last year. I
And,
believe it
and,
was January.
and what did you start
And
baking? What were you baking?
I was doing chocolate brownies and vanilla cake.
Woo! All right.
Simple things. Yeah. But then I was like, okay, that's a little, boring. I need to do something more. And I've been cooking since I was 15. So I'm a pretty good cook. I come from a Dominican family and I'm the
Uh-oh,
eldest.
watch out.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to do something better. I was like, empanadas. I know I could make some good empanadas. My grandma
Uh-huh.
told me how to make them from scratch. So why not? So I was like, what flavors should I do? I want to do something different. I want to keep it the Dominican way, but I also want people from different backgrounds to like it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could make some guava, mozzarella, a black bean with corn and scallions, and then I could have some vegetable meat with jalapeno cheese, and then I'll have another option of pizza and whatever. I just started selling them out there to the community, and
Yeah.
everybody fell in love with them. And I was like, wow, like this is bigger than, than what I thought it would be. And once I saw that everybody loved my food, I just put myself out there. I started contacting all the running groups in New York City, asking them like if they have any events, if I could be their vendor, and they will all say yes. And so many people will come out those days and just support me and eat my food and say all these beautiful comments about it. And it just became a big thing where now I have a partnership with a gallery in the Bronx where they will be selling my food, and it's just amazing.
Look at that. It's just growing, snowballing for you, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry for using the word snowball. I mean, you're in the Dominican Republic. But, things are really, really happening for you, huh? As you have everybody in the community, everybody watching, salivating right about now.
Yes, yeah.
We wish we can taste some of your food, and perhaps maybe when we get back into the studios, you can set up something and give us a demonstration, and we can eat your food.
I would love that. I would love that because a lot of people that don't know about veganism, they're like, they're like, but this doesn't even taste bad. Like I thought vegan food was boring and bland, and I'm like, no, everything is how you cook it,
Yeah, and with all the bodegas around, I mean, bodegas are getting better and better, and we need them in our community. But sometimes they don't have the foods that you want, the healthy foods. So,
Yes.
how did you start the food wagon or whatever you call it, the food truck?
Okay, so I always wanted a restaurant, but I'm like, that's a little risky if you don't have the people behind you, and if you don't have a clientele, it's super risky. So I'm like, let me start a little small. And I know food trucks are really in right now. It's easier than getting a whole restaurant. And I thought about it. I was like, we don't have no vegan food trucks in the Bronx or uptown Manhattan. Like they're just all in the city and downtown area. So I was like, I could do this. I have a big support team with the running community. I have a huge family, and I saw how everybody supporting me with the Team for Kids fundraiser. So I was like, I know I could do this food truck thing. I didn't want to keep it small. I just don't want to be out in the public or just selling for other small businesses. I want to actually like go around with my food truck and show the Bronx that you could still eat good while treating your temple right. Like
There you
that
go.
they have the same options. Like you could eat an empanada if you want at 3-4 in the morning after, you come out of a nightclub or whatever, but you just have a healthier option now. You don't have to eat from an animal. You don't have to have dairy, but you still could have something really good,
Now, Eloise, you mentioned your temple. Talk about that temple. That's biblical.
It's very important to me. Our temple is super important because about 6 years ago, I got diagnosed with endometriosis. It's a really, really rare sickness. A lot of people don't know what it is, but it messed me up a lot in life. Like I lost a lot of jobs. I almost lost my husband because I was in pain every week. Every week I'll be in pain. I'll be in the ER every month. They will have to put morphine on me. And it was a lot going on. And the sickness really like messed me up at the time. So I started doing researches because the doctors couldn't really help me anymore. So I started researching like what I have. And I saw that my problem was that my estrogen level was too high. And I noticed that meat has a lot to do with a woman's estrogen levels because our meat has a lot of hormones. So, once I did my research.
A lot of injections, a lot of
a lot of injections.
Shot with hormones and antibiotics and everything like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, health became really important to me. At the same time, that's when I started running marathons and I was super active. And I noticed that just by changing the way you eat, your diet, and treating your temple right by like exercising and doing all these things that are good for your body, I wanted to put it out there. I wanted women to know that you don't have to go through pain and go and have endometriosis and all these things and not stop it. Like you could stop all that by having a better diet. It's that simple. Just cut off meat, cut off fish, but you could still eat your carbs if you want. You could still eat your plátano maduros. You could still eat your empanadas. You could still eat all that just in a healthier way.
Right, and everything in moderation. Really you can still have that every now and then, but make sure you eat healthy most of the time. That's what's going to help you out.
You gotta have balance in everything in life. You can't just keep a routine and eating the same thing and knowing that it's affecting you and you're not making changes about it. And my thing is my whole family is vegan. Like my husband is vegan, my 2 children are vegan, and this is like a family thing. And I've seen how it has changed my daughter's life. I've seen how it has changed my life. So I just want to put it out there. Like if I could do it, I'm from the Bronx. I grew up like in the ghetto, and I was introduced to all these bad foods like chicken, spot, and the Chinese food and all these things. If I could do it, like anybody could do it.
Yeah. Eloise, before you go, where's that truck located? Because we're going to come and eat up all of your food.
So I want to put it in Fordham Road, Fordham Plaza, because they don't have no food trucks there. And it's a really big open area. And I feel like I won't have a hard time having the truck there because right now I'm on the waiting list. There's a huge waiting list, like for you to like
license and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So hopefully, soon I'll be able to put in Fordham Plaza in the Bronx.
There we go. We can't wait. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do have a website. I do. It's called afreshstart.us.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, listen, thank you so much for all that you're doing, and thank you for keeping our community healthy. And we wish you the best. Have a happy holiday, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Eloise Gomez, thank you so much. The founder and CEO of A Fresh Start. We're going to get out there and eat up all of your food. She has the healthy food. Thank you so much for feeding our community the healthy way. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank our guests for joining us and you, our viewer, for tuning in and checking it all out. Keep following BronxNet TV for continued coverage. And thank you for letting us share in this space and time with you. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. And always remember, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. And remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll catch you another day, another way. I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. Love you all. Peace.